Why it sucks to be born as a velociraptor. Small, sharp, and somehow still completely misunderstood. You don't hatch. You erupt. Out of an egg barely larger than a mango, you rip the prehistoric silence with a shrill, indignant screech. Like you're already offended at how much smaller you are than Hollywood promised. Congrats. You're a velociraptor. Not the 6-foot-tall, scaly horror from those Jurassic Park documentaries. That's Utah Raptor, your much larger American cousin. You're about the size of a turkey. A really angry, overqualified turkey. The desert isn't exactly handing out welcome baskets. You're born in the semi-arid wastelands of Cretaceous Mongolia, where the sun is a hateful god, and the wind exists solely to exfoliate you with sand. Your nest is a barely scooped pit in the dirt. No cozy feathered hug from mom. She's already gone hunting. Or hiding. Or maybe she just gave up and ghosted you entirely. You wriggle your tiny limbs, still wobbly, but the instincts are hardwired. Within minutes, you and your equally clueless siblings are clawing at each other like toddlers in a knife fight. Survival here isn't about being strong. It's about being faster, meaner, and slightly less edible than your brother. First rule, don't trust the silence. Every dune could be hiding a predator. Oviraptors, Troodonts, or the big bad of the neighborhood, Tarbosaurus. A T-Rex knockoff with a worse attitude and slightly better bite force. You're not even a snack to them. You're more like crunchy garnish. But you adapt. You learn to stalk bugs, nip lizards, and occasionally trip your sibling so the hawk picks them instead. Progress. Weeks pass. You're growing rapidly. The feathers on your arms are coming in, not for flight, mind you, but for balance and the occasional dramatic pose. You practice jumping, leaping from rock to rock, perfecting your coordination. One day you pounce on a lizard mid-sprint and suddenly, boom! Hunter unlocked. It's addictive, that rush of speed, the kill, the taste of victory, and lizard guts. Your brain doesn't do pride, but your claws do a little flex afterward. You are fast, agile, lethal. If your prey is the size of a sandwich, you hunt in a group now, a loosely organized chaos squad of your remaining siblings. Turns out, pack hunting works, but barely. Everyone wants the prize, no one wants to share. And betrayal is just one bad meal away. Still, together you manage to corner prey larger than yourselves. Protoceratops, early mammals, even the occasional injured hadrosaur if you're feeling bold. One day your group chases a young Protoceratops into a narrow gully. You leap from above, teeth bared, talons ready, and crash into your brother mid-air. You both tumble like idiots. The prey escapes, kicking dust in your face. Back at the den, no one talks about it, but everyone remembers. Still think raptors are tactical geniuses? Nah. You're impulsive, overconfident, and fueled by spite. Strategy is for mammals. You reach adolescence around the same time you realize the desert has no chill. Sandstorms, drought, and seasonal starvation become regular features. Your group loses one member to dehydration, one to a predator, and one because they thought eating that glowing fungus was a good idea. Spoiler, it wasn't. During a particularly brutal dry spell, you're forced to range farther than ever. That's when you discover it. The river valley. Lush, greenish, full of prey and water. And also full of other raptors. Bigger, older, territorial raptors. You try sneaking in just to snag a drink. One of the locals spots you and charges. You run, zigzag, leap a log, duck under a branch, barely escaping. You earn a new scar and a lesson. You're not a big deal here. Yet. Later that week, you and your group find a nesting site. Unguarded, dozens of eggs, jackpot. You start feasting like it's your last day on Earth. Which, for one of your brothers, it is. The mother returns mid-meal, and she is not having it. You escape. Barely. Again. You're starting to notice a pattern. Oh, and by the way, before another dino decides to turn you into a quick snack, how about smashing that like button? Or do I have to leap out of the underbrush and tap it for you with my sickle claw? Subscribe now, because surviving the Cretaceous is brutal, but doing it without backup is even worse. Time passes. You're faster now, stronger. Your claws have become surgical tools of death. You've perfected the leap, pounce, kill combo. You even find a mate, not because you're romantic, but because your biology tells you to chase feathers and follow pheromones. The ritual is short. You circle, squawk, flick your tail like an idiot, and then success. A clutch of eggs is laid weeks later. You guard them like a feathered dragon. You hiss at anything that moves. You snap at your mate. You don't eat. You don't rest. You just guard. And then they hatch. Tiny, ridiculous copies of you. Their heads too big, their legs too wobbly, and their mouths already open for food. You feel something? Not love, but maybe instinctual pride? Doesn't matter. Days later, a flash flood wipes out the nest. You scream. You bite at the water. It doesn't care. You don't eat for days, not because you can't, but because you just don't care. Something cracked open inside you with those eggs. A switch flipped. You're not just hunting to survive anymore. You're moving through the world like it's on mute. And the world? It keeps pushing. One afternoon, you spot a thieving trudont sneaking around your territory. Normally, you'd lunge, chase, snap a leg, and call it lunch. But this time, you just watch. You feel tired. Not physically, emotionally, whatever that means for a creature like you. The trudont scurries off, confused and completely uneaten. A few days later, your instincts wake back up. With teeth, you stumble onto the scent of a dying hadrosaur calf. Fresh. Alone. An easy kill. You stalk it like the ghost of your younger self. Low to the ground. Silent. Every movement a practiced whisper of death. You leap. But something's changed. Your timing is off. The calf dodges. You fall short, roll, recover, but it's already limping away into the trees. That's when it hits you. You're not the nightmare anymore. You're the warning growl that younger predators ignore. So you adapt. Again. You avoid big fights, hunt smaller prey, sleep longer, hide better. Your territory shrinks, but you defend it like your name depends on it. You live like a shadow cast by your own legend. Then one day, it gets weird. You see something strange, something that doesn't smell like prey or predator. It moves wrong, stands upright, 2 legs, tiny arms, no feathers, no claws, and it's holding something shiny. It doesn't belong here. You freeze. It freezes. You hiss. It writes something down. It's a human, but you don't know that. You only know it won't be around long, because it's 75 million years too early. You're left wandering, alone now, older, scarred, angrier. You roam the territory you once fought to enter. Now you own it, but there's less prey these days. More competition. Every day feels like a rerun of the same violent episode. One morning you wake to the distant rumble of thunder, or so you think. It's footsteps, heavy ones. Tarbosaurus. Again, you freeze in the underbrush, invisible. Your heart thuds. It passes. You live, but your muscles ache longer now. Your jumps are shorter. Your claws don't dig in quite as deep. A new pack of younger raptors enters the valley. You watch from a distance. One of them copies your hunting technique perfectly. You hiss, low. You remember being that fast, that bold, that reckless. You slink away, not out of fear, out of knowing. You've been the storm, now you're the shadow it leaves behind. You curl up beneath a rock ledge, out of the wind, bones pressed to stone. The world is changing, you can feel it. The air is heavier, the sky's darker, the mammals louder. Something's coming, and maybe that's okay. You keep moving, haunted by the shiny-eyed thing you just saw. Your brain doesn't process it, not really, but somewhere deep in your ancient skull, a ripple has started, one that won't stop for millions of years. Days pass, then weeks. The sky starts acting weird. Less blue, more angry. Ash-colored clouds form on the horizon like bruises spreading across the sky. Birds vanish. The insects go silent. Even the wind holds its breath. Something's coming. You start to feel it, not just in your claws or your nose, but in your bones. The kind of fear you can't outrun. The kind that doesn't come with teeth or claws or even sound, just absence. You climb a ridge one morning and look out over your territory. It's quieter than it's ever been. No herds, no rivals, no prey, just dust. That night, the earth moves, and not like a tremor, like a tantrum. The ground bucks. Cracks split the earth open like rotten eggs. You run, but to where? The stars above vanish under smoke, and from far off, you see it. Fire falling from the sky. Your kind doesn't have words, but if you did, you'd probably call it the end. And yet, you don't die that day. Not yet. You survive. One more time. You find a cave. You wait. You sleep longer. Hunt less. Move only when you have to. And over time, even your memories of what the world used to look like begin to fade. You forget the names of the things you killed, the faces of your siblings, the feel of a sprint across open sand. You are a ghost long before you're gone. Eventually, the hunger wins. Or maybe it's the cold. Or the ash. Or the silence. You lie down, and this time, you don't get up. Millions of years later, someone finds your bones. They dust you off, measure your claws, put you in a museum, or worse, miscast you in a blockbuster movie. But they don't know the half of it. They never saw the eggshell, the claws, the dust, the leap. They never saw you. You were born as a desert scrap. You clawed your way into legend. You weren't the biggest, the strongest, or even the smartest, but you were fast, feral, and relentless. You were Velociraptor, and if that's not worth remembering, what is? Drop a comment. If you had to survive the Cretaceous for 24 hours, which dinosaur would you want to be, and which one would definitely eat you? And don't forget, smash that like button before a pack of hungry raptors decides to test your mobility. Subscribe for more stories where natural selection comes with claws and a killer sense of humor.